So patriotic. Isn't it amazing how James can play that live exactly the same every day?
It is.
His
Hey, good
keyboard's right
morning.
there.
It's
Good morning.
Thursday. It's Thursday. It's 5 o'clock, and I don't know why we do this every morning. I get up. I look forward to it.
Me
Who the
too.
hell looks forward
I
to it?
I don't have any time to hang out with the guys. I live with four women. I was talking to a girl in Florida yesterday about a new job, and she says, "You must have broken a lot of hearts in your life to have four girls in your house, and you're the only boy now."
Hey, I have a wife and four daughters and a female dog.
Yeah.
What kind of dog is it?
She was a little like Chihuahua, like the little Mexican,
Oh yeah.
little Gato Taco Bell dog.
You're
That
kidding.
dog lived 21 years.
Whoa.
You took care of it. That's good.
Yes, we really
Wow.
did. I mean, we made sure she was healthy for damn near all of her life.
Yeah, man. Healthy animals are happy animals are healthy animals that live a long time.
I like happy, healthy animals. Speaking of
Mhm.
happy and healthy, today is National Spinach Day. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I only eat spinach when it comes to salads. Oh,
Well, it's a staple. I mean,
yeah, I don't.
when you need to grow something fast, collard greens, they grow fast because
Mhm.
you really you can't live on lettuce, but you can live on collard greens for some reason.
I thought we
Yeah,
were going
And
to do real news.
oh yeah, but I mean,
but we gotta.
I'm talking about survival. Yeah, spinach, you can grow spinach fast and you can live on it, and
I love
that's
spinach. I'm
I
yeah,
telling
love
you,
spinach.
my
I'm the only
salad is
one in the
just
house that
spinach.
eats it. I'm
yeah.
the only one that eats it here.
It's good for you.
You wanna know why
Yeah,
I
it
hate
is good for
lettuce
you.
more?
Yeah.
Is because look at those guns.
60,
Jeez,
61 years
you
old,
get you,
dude.
you, you're gonna get us banned from YouTube with those things.
Damn, that's a mechanic right there.
Yep.
Lifting up motors without the pick.
Heck yeah. Just
All
picking
right.
up four cylinders and throwing it on the truck.
Spinach, feta cheese, and some salad dressing. I'm good to go. Oh, and some croutons. Normal lettuce. My wife cuts the heads of lettuce. I'm like, I don't want that crunch. I hate the crunch.
I
That's why I
love
don't
the
like
crunch.
celery. I hate the
My
crunch.
my mom had to put or had to put a little bit of sugar on my salad to make me eat salad.
Sugar on salad.
I
That's
said,
awesome.
because they hadn't invented protein salads then where you could
What
chop
the
up
hell?
fried chicken and put it on your
Yeah,
salad and eat it.
yeah. I love it when I have the ability to do that. But it is National Spinach Day, and just to get this out of the way, this just was a
Fried chicken
coincidence.
salad. James
On
has got
this
it.
on this day in history, so it is National Spinach Day, but also on this day in history, 1937, spinach growers of Crystal City, Texas, erect a statue of Popeye.
I'm sure their city fathers were really happy about that.
I mean, so it makes you wonder how long National Spinach Day has been around. If Popeye went up on this day in 1937, check out the statue.
So somebody had to be drunk when they voted for that.
Crystal City Hall. It says City Hall behind it.
But why? I mean, in Philadelphia, they put up a Rocky statue.
That somebody was drunk when they did that
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
I'm telling you, that was a
yeah,
happy hour decision right there.
yeah.
I'm just saying they do some weird shit. I think
Adrian,
there's a Superman statue somewhere.
Adrian.
You're messing with us, right, James?
No, in one of these cities in America, there's a Superman statue.
Wow.
A Superman statue
Yeah.
made of kryptonite.
Oh man. And then of course, 1945 on this day, Allies led by US Marine Corps secured island of Ujima,
Yeah.
Iwo Jima.
Iwo
Jima. I always say that wrong. From Imperial Japanese Army after 18,000 Japanese and 6,000 Americans were killed.
Yeah, I
The
bet you
most famous
3,000
photo in
Americans were
history.
killed on the first wave, or 4,000 Americans were killed on
Yeah.
the
As
first
soon as
wave.
they hit the beach.
Yep.
Yeah, this is like the most famous photo in the history of photos.
Oh
The
yeah,
holding
it
the
was
flag
done
up.
twice.
Yep.
That's the second time it was done. The first time it was put up by a group of guys who just put up a small flag, and the guy and the commander, the admiral sitting in the battleship said, "I can't see that flag. Put up a bigger one."
Well, you know what made this one so famous? Because of all these different branches of the soldiers. They're from different branches that were trying
Yeah,
to put that flag up.
but look at the background. That's on Mount Suribachi or whatever on the island. Look how tall that mountain was compared to the
Yeah.
island. See?
You can see it
And that's
behind
where
you.
the Japanese were entrenched, just bombing the crap out of everybody because they had the advantage of elevation. Okay, in battle, elevation is everything.
Of
So,
course, those guys did not want to be doing that right then. Some commander, go put that flag up.
oh no, hell no, they were
Oh,
getting shot at.
Well,
the,
you
Oh,
know, and then
the guy in the back's like, "Why am I even here?"
right.
they got pulled out of the battle when that was recognized or or understand that it did happen, and they, the bosses seen it, the generals. So they pulled these guys out to go back to America to sell war bonds.
Hmm.
They hated it. They felt
Yeah.
like that, because everybody's calling them heroes. They
Yeah.
did not believe they were heroes. They felt like they were
Yeah.
cheating their fellow soldiers.
Oh yeah. My uncle Sonny, the mean guy I told you about, he was on the second wave at Iwo Jima. So like I said,
Wow.
he liked the second wave. He didn't mind doing underwater demolition just so he wouldn't have to go in on the first wave.
Might as well try and let's give them some recognition. The 6 Marines who raised the flag were Michael Strank, Harlan Block, Franklin. Yep, Harlan Block, Franklin Susley, Ira Hayes, Harold Schultz, and Harold Keller. 2 Heralds.
Yeah, Harold. Yeah, Harlan. That's a great name, Harlan. You don't
Was
hear
one of
Harlan
them
that much.
Right. Was one of them taking a picture? I don't see 6. I see 4.
They were not all Marines that did that flag raising. There was the Navy in there and an Army, and
Mhm.
so that's not really right.
Well, like I said, that's the second flag. The first flag was just a very small one a person had in his pocket.
Yeah.
And they said they couldn't see it. So the admiral on the ship told him to put up a bigger flag.
Michael Strank, one of the guys who did it the second time, a sergeant who was one of the leaders during the first flag raising. So he had to do it twice.
Yeah.
Michael Strank's like, I've been here before.
Yeah.
He was killed in action later in the battle.
Yeah.
Harlan Block, a corporal, also died in combat shortly after the flag raising. Franklin Susley, private first class, who was killed in action during the battle.
See, the Japanese were fanatics, and their god was, they felt that a person was a god, and that's who they served. So they served him till death. And
3 of them survived.
This Iranian guard religion that we have in Iran, we're going to figure out the same thing. They're fanatics. Okay,
fanatics. Yeah.
And they're not going to ever give up peacefully.
Well, give us some news. What's going on? So
let's go to
Iran.
Yesterday that popped. Iran completely rejects Trump's 15-point ceasefire plan. I mean, how quick are they getting up these posters? I saw a couple of these posters pop up. Those are nice posters. I'm not gonna lie, they're huge and they're rounded. How fancy for a little sandy desert town.
Yeah.
Let me get this picture up. One of them says Epstein Island or something on it. The missile. Look at it. It says "Down with Israel" on one. Epstein Island victim girls. Like, what?
Yeah, they're just those are all talking points, and we're going to get to that.
This goes back to like the intelligence agencies being a part of this. It would not surprise me if we pulled the double dip on that one.
No, I'm going to explain exactly who's directing a lot of this artwork. Okay, but this is about Trump trying to negotiate with whatever leadership is left in Iran. And right now, the leadership in Iran, and we just all have to admit it, is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard. So they have not been taken out. It's like fire ants. You think you put you treated fire ants, all they do is go deeper and deeper and deeper, and then they still survive. And then about a month later, you're out there trimming your hedges, and you look down, and there's 1,000 fire ants on your feet. So I mean, it's just and I'm not calling somebody a fire ant. That's not what I'm saying. That they're fire ants.
No, that's what I heard.
That's what I heard. Yeah,
I heard
That's what I heard.
Not only that, you're calling them piss poor fire ants.
That's just calling them.
So they demanded.
They survive. Okay, they're very good at survival because they're not done yet.
They know how to scatter like roaches.
Oh,
So they're ants is ants, roaches,
and roaches.
sandy ants, and
They
roaches.
work together.
The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, where was this at? This is the AP? No, this is the New York Post. Consolidated power with the remains of Tehran's regime, vowed to keep the war going unless the U.S. closed all American bases in the Gulf and provided reparations for its attacks on Iran. Reparations, like what would that look like?
They demand reparations.
Obama gave them the reparations. Yeah, they demanded reparations.
See that?
They want the
That's a
billions
key
in
word.
cash again.
Okay, so how is an Islamic truist of Mohammed wanting reparations? So that's a word that they've learned from. I'm going to tell you who they learned it from. Okay,
Kamala Harris's campaign.
I'm just telling you. Okay, so it doesn't look like Trump's going to be able to get a peace without putting some boots down on the ground. So we're mobilizing from Japan, from Germany, and our 82nd now has been called up. We wanted the 82nd to go to Minneapolis, right? Well, I would think now they would have said, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Can we go to Minneapolis and put down the protesters, or we're going to have to go over to Iran? So they're headed out to Iran.
I got to get that clip of Caroline Levitt yesterday. Basically, Caroline Levitt, I don't know if you guys saw her yesterday when they rejected the plan. She basically said, Trump said, in her words, Trump says there's going to be hell to pay. So,
yeah, he's going to start
put
taking
your
out
guns
their.
down. Hell's to pay, right?
He's gonna start punishing the citizens, because without punishing the citizens, that's collateral damage. But he's gonna have to take out their infrastructure.
I know. Well, listen, this is the way I always thought about it when I was a kid, when I thought about war, and now I haven't really thought about it in a long time. But in war, I know they talk about like Hiroshima, Nagasaki. There's a lot of people, innocent people, who died. But when you're at war, all is fair in love and war. Like, it's either your people or my people. Nobody. So this is what's happening in
Tyler. The people that we dropped the bomb on in World War II were fanatics. They were ruled by an emperor, a god. Okay, they would do whatever. I mean, we were going to lose 2 to 3 million people invading their territory of Japan.
I'm not saying that
because every little kid and every woman, every little kid would have picked up arms against the invaders. That's just their culture.
Oh yeah, the emperor is the one who had to end it, right? Well, after besides our bombing of them,
their emperor, the god, was like a king times 10. So
very young guy too.
It's like the holy of holiest of it, the way they thought. Anyway, so that's the same thing. Now, we don't understand. We may not get the whole story. So the revolutionary guys, the Islamic Revolutionary Guards, they may have everybody locked up. I mean, they may have they may be doing something behind the scenes that we don't know what they're doing. We're unsure of. I'll give you an example. Part of the plan for the Bay of Pigs invasion of Cuba was to have the locals rise up against communism, against Fidel Castro, who changed his mind. He first wanted a representative government, and then one day he said, this isn't working. I'm now the grand potentate, right? I'm the head honcho. Everybody follows my word. And they said, oh, nobody wanted that. So they thought all the men on the island would join the invaders of the Bay of Pigs and help them out. Well, what Castro did was he arrested all the males on the island, every single one of them. They put them in soccer fields, theaters, schools, locked them under key so they couldn't come out and help the small force that landed at Bay of Pigs. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, Bay of Pigs, that was crazy.
So
what do you think about this, James?
Well, Castro was a crazy man, and who's ever running the thing over in Iran are also crazy.
Yeah.
So, but Castro wanted power because he wanted power, not because it was a religious thing. These people, when you add religion into it, and let's be honest, the Islamic faith is not really an actual religion; it's a governance kind of thing. But it's still, they considered it their religion. So they're willing to die for it. The true believers. You have a small fraction of them that don't want to die, but there ain't enough of them. So you're gonna have to wipe them out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, to you and Skillet's point when you were talking about Nagasaki or Hiroshima, what I was getting at with that, all is fair in love and war, even if innocent. I know this sounds so bad. If innocent,
it saved millions
it's like
of
Gaza,
lives.
right? Those little bastards, like you said earlier, the ants, they're cockroaches. So they're like trying to be surgical in Gaza. They're lucky that I wasn't president of freaking Israel or prime minister. I would have just flattened the place. I'd be like, I'm done with this. You're shooting rockets right next to me into my cities. You're done. And the bigger guy, the bigger bird's going to take the worm, right? I mean, it's crazy that these people are being so surgical. This is such crazy modern warfare. Whether
I've
it's
always
Ukraine,
respected Israel
yeah, whether it's
because
them taking out Gaza or Putin taking out Kiev, he could take out Kiev today, dude. He definitely could. It's I think Putin is like he said being surgical because I think he knows or thinks. I don't think it would happen, but I think he thinks that most of Europe would be like, we got to do something now, you know. So I think he's just that's just like an
Well,
on.
see that
That's
what's
never gonna
missing.
happen.
All right, so either we're not being informed about what's really going on over there, but I mean we're getting bits and pieces of it. But in Europe, World War II, did we not see refugees on the roads just escaping cities and running for their lives? Right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Poland, France, Italy, when they fell, Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, whatever.
Mhm.
All right, where are the refugees leaving these cities and trying to go to a neighboring country? You see what I mean?
they're
Where
Oh
are
not.
yeah,
they?
like Moldova and stuff.
Yeah, where's the people with wagons and horses and carts and chairs on their backs just saying I'm running for my life? I'm not part of these guys. These guys are
Well, you know
wackos. I'm
why?
out of here.
Because we're only hitting military targets, and these people still walk and drive freely on the streets of Iran and go to work and go to the grocery store, and nothing is. I mean, obviously, it's affected them because if a facility is close to your house and you're getting shot at by the American forces, it's not too cool. But they need to have their electric dismantled. They need to have their water supply contaminated, and when I say contaminate, I mean like bomb the treatment plants, not poison the water purposely, and make it hard living for them.
Yeah.
Take them back 200 years.
Well, if you want to see a raving population, starve them for 10 days. 10 days changes
Yeah.
a human being into an animal.
Well, when they don't have no electric to keep things like meat and stuff cold, they're going to revert back to
Peaceful
caveman days.
times. Yeah.
No, it won't be. Well, it will be after they give up. They'll attack. They will attack their own.
Well,
Yeah. Well,
anyway, you guys,
I,
here's some news. This is what's coming out. They're getting ready for midterms. All right. So the states, there's half and half. We're split. We're back to about 50-50. 28 states have refused to release their voter rolls to the DOJ. And the DOJ just says, look, we kind of heard about this. We heard that voter rolls are overcounted. And they're like, well, that's impossible. We have 10 people that live in the state. Well, those 10 people in the state registered to vote. But for some reason, there's 70 registered voters. Each one of those 10 voters has been registered 10 times on your voter rolls. Well, no, that's because one of them moved and one of them went over to this place and one of them changed their name. And that's the reason. Those 9 other repetitive names that are in our voter rolls, they're inactive. They don't vote. Really? Okay. Well, let's prove that. So they went and grabbed the Fulton County ballots. FBI grabbed the Fulton County ballots for 2020, and they're going to count the ballots. Well, they've had emergency injunction after emergency injunction after emergency injunction trying to stop the FBI from counting anything. Why? What do they got to hide? Now it's another state involved, California, Riverside County. The sheriff grabbed the special ballot, special election that the person felt he was robbed. 650,000 ballots. The sheriff got a permission from a judge to do it. He got another order from the judge to count them. He grabs the ballots. They start counting them, and the state attorney general has an emergency injunction for him to stop counting the ballots. Why? Because they don't want this to be discovered that those repetitive voter rolls also casted ballots. So what they're saying is there's 45,000 ballots too many. So if you had 10 voters, there's 14 ballots. They counted 14 ballots for 10 people. They want to know why. What happened? We're catching them. This is what how did Joe Biden get 81 million ballots?
Yeah. Well,
we know
impossible.
My aunt was a poll worker in Texas, and she told me yesterday that she'd have people come in and she'd have to scan their information, and then it'd say, well, you voted already in this other location. And she's like, sorry, it says right here you voted. And they're like, well, what are you talking about? She said, well, you got to take this to the courthouse and prove to them that you didn't vote. And then it's not my problem.
Most people never did.
Yeah.
You were talking about reparations. I think Iran went to reparations, which is stupid.
Reparations.
Taking my island.
There's that argument here in the States about reparations for minorities that were brought over here and they have ancestors that were slaves. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm on the Heather Hill for the governor of the state of Ohio. She was on a podcast just the other day, and I knew where this was going because he kept saying, we got a sister coming on and blah, blah. I was like, okay. This is going to be it's going to be an Ebonics fest kind of thing. And he was talking to her about reparations. Well, she don't believe in reparations. And he's like, don't you think our people suffered? And, they always go with that generational wealth bullshit story. Mm-hmm. And she's like, aren't you happy to be equal now? How do we heal wounds if you keep opening them up? The white people have finally given us almost everything we've asked for, and you still are asking for more. There's going to come a time and point, and she's like, this is where I'm at. It's time to stop asking for more and more and more and just be happy and live as an American, because we're finally got our place in America where we belong. And, she says, we're seen. She says, like, especially if she'll be a black female if she becomes governor of the state of Ohio. We had a black president. She said, aren't you happy enough? And he's like, well, yeah, I see your point of view, but you got to see my point of view. And she said, no, I don't.
How can you see someone's point of view who is never tied to slavery?
Okay, just so everybody knows,
they bring it.
The 13 colonies the 13 colonies were populated with indentured servants who owed money in Europe, and they had to leave their homelands, come to the New World. They had to pay for they didn't have money to pay for transportation back then.
They were offer up their services.
They were indentured servants. It's a fancy word for slavery.
Yep. Let me tell you, the Irish were indentured servants. They were not the only people who were enslaved.
And I've started an indentured servant NGO that pays me back $18 million that are owed from my ancestors.
Yeah,
well, I'll give you a quick story. Let me give you a quick story. So the argument is who's paying it and who's getting it, right? So if you had relatives that was on the north side, the 315,000 that died, why should your family pay for reparations? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You take my family. My dad's side of the family didn't even hit the beach of South Carolina until after the Civil War was over with. Now my mom's family was here, but my mom's family they had family members that fought on both sides. They were a split deal for a while. So there again, how do you reconcile that? But I can tell you this: my father or my mom's father My grandfather is how I got my first name because he died in France during World War II. Now, my middle name comes from my great grandfather, which was named after a former slave that his father, my great great grandfather, they worked the fields together after the Civil War. So they became best friends so much that
Imagine that.
he named my great grandfather this slave's name, which is Obi.
Obi,
Yeah. So,
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
so
Obi's a good
should
name.
my family pay reparations?
Shadobi.
Because we
I
never
think,
owned a
dude,
slave.
you're white, so you have to pay him. That
Yeah.
would have been a
Bullshit.
great question for the Spring Breakers, right? Who won the Civil War, the North or the South?
Nobody.
That
My
would have been,
family, my
what's the
family,
Civil War?
my family. Get this, my uncle was like
I was
drinking one
kidding
night, and
about
he was telling
nobody.
me, my uncle
The
up in
North one.
Jacksonville was telling me, and I said, tell me about where we started. He said we started in Walaka in 1862, or no, 1858 or 1858, something like that. We moved from South Carolina to Walaka, Florida, 1850s. And I said there was a whole bunch of brothers. They bought 5,000 acres on the St. Johns River, 5,000 acres, and they started planting orange groves, orange trees, orange groves. Civil War broke out. They went and fought in the Civil War. They came back. Half of them came back, worked the groves. The other half became bank robbers out west. They went out west and became bank robbers. And he has pictures of them, pictures of my relatives from the 1800s.
That's
They
awesome.
were they were
The
so,
James Gang.
yeah.
Hey, I think I've told this story before, maybe not. You know, the last
Should have become
stagecoach,
smugglers.
the last stagecoach was on display at the Wells Fargo. It was the Wells Fargo stagecoach, right?
They were awesome, weren't they?
So my mom's side of the family, the two cousins, there was two cousins of my mom, that was the pilot and the guy that carries the shotgun. You know what I mean? This is how they rolled back
Yeah,
then.
the guy who
Right.
runs the horses and the guy
Yep.
who carries the shotgun.
So they get robbed by Billy the Kid.
Okay.
And so that was the last run of the Wells Fargo stagecoach. That was the last run. After it got robbed, they decided to just do everything by trains.
Mhm.
So, you know, just a little tidbit of history there.
Those stagecoaches had to be light but workable. So they were kind of tall, big wheels, and the wheels so they could get over rough terrain. That's the bigger the
Yeah.
wheel, the rougher the terrain.
Gets out of the little holes.
And then they had to be light so they could carry people and their
Could
stuff.
you imagine like racing around a carriage that you're trying to get away from someone or through a problem with? A horse is just like,
just get spooked horses.
Well,
Spooked horses.
One cousin
talking about
got
a bumpy
shot.
ride.
Hey, the reason we don't have horses today is they are the most unreliable thing ever. They're an
They're
animal.
stubborn as hell.
And if they get spooked, you can die. I mean, you
They're
can die
stubborn. They're
horribly.
stubborn.
Oh
They're
yeah,
just-
when I went swimming. It was a hiking trail in Washington State
No, you
outside of
did.
Portland, and I was swimming with my ex-girlfriend. We were kids, or I wasn't even a kid. I was like 22 or 30, and there's this guy there's a horseback trail there too. So we're getting out of the car and park right next to my driver's side door. Next to my driver's side door is where the horses are coming out. And this
Way to
guy's
go.
huge, right?
Parked on the trail.
This guy is buff as hell, dude. And he runs these horses, and he has his horse farm, whatever. Very experienced horse guy, obviously, right? And he's getting out. This horse is very angry, and he said he's just an angry horse. And I forgot something in the car, so I come back, get something out of the car, and he's standing there on the front of the horse, holding his bridle. The horse is looking at him, and he's holding his head like this, and he's like, "Dude, you got to get out of here." He's like, "You got to go." And the horse lifts him up, and he's like, "Get out of here." And so the horse is picking him up with his head. This guy's like, arms are like Popeye, dude. He's picking him up.
Sure.
Get out of here. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
My God.
Horses.
Don't take that thing in public like this. It's crazy. That thing could just start killing everyone.
Well, I got my kids a horse. We moved out in the country, bought a house out in the country, and my wife at the time thought, we ought to do the 4-H thing and this, that, the other. We got chickens, we got hogs, we got goats, we got horses, dogs. It was an animal farm.
Slaves.
It was a zoo. Well, that horse was probably the worst animal out of all of them. The pigs even seemed smarter than that horse.
Pigs
And
are smart.
pigs are smart, yeah.
Yeah, because they're smart enough. My mom had a pig at their in Lake County. That Susie the pig, man. Susie the pig would sleep in the house. They had a big house. Susie the pig would figure out a way to sleep in that house every night, no matter how you locked it up, put it in the pen. Susie was like, "I'm sleeping with the humans, man."
Well,
So
we had
off
a
it goes.
Yep.
you know what a Vietnamese potbelly pig is?
Yeah.
We had one of those, and we tried to like treat it like one of the other, like dogs or whatever, because it was a smart thing too. The damn thing never wanted to live or stay in the house. It always slept out in the stall with the horse.
Well, that was his buddy.
I
And
had
then,
a customer
yeah,
in Boston same way. They had a pig, and they said the pig sat on the couch just like a dog, slept with them, and they said that the worst thing about having a pig is that they live for like 100,000 years, and they said they can't go on vacations. You always got to find a babysitter for this thing for 25
Pig.
years.
So part of the news yesterday was that Mark Zuckerberg, we talk about his two yachts. He has a yacht that his guest and he stay on, and then he has another yacht that carries all the toys for the
yeah,
entertainment of yachting. So he has two yachts, one just to carry the toys, right?
right.
So
It's what they call a support unit.
yeah, the support unit that carries all the inflatables and the sports
Yeah.
boats and the
Supportive fun. The
probably
fun support unit.
suntan lotion and prophylactics and
Yeah, right.
tampon dispensaries, and
Blow
all
up
that stuff.
dolls, girls.
Yeah, the meat, the food, right? The
There-
chefs.
he's not the only one that has stuff like that. There's a lot of those yacht owners that have those support yachts.
Yeah.
Support yachts. So Mark Zuckerberg had to give up he's going to give up some money. He's given up. There's more. That's right, $375 million. So his bad week started on Tuesday. So on Tuesday in New Mexico, this person killed herself. I think the person. If I may not have all the facts right, but the plaintiff suicide, but she was or he or she, I don't know which it is, was victimized by a sex predator. The sex predator used all the software that you have on your cell phone to track down the victims, entice the victims, and then kill the victim or whatever, suicide. So their family sued. They won in court. They didn't believe that they were trying to prove that these software programs help predators, help anybody who wants to do people harm, and they need to be regulated. And so the jury awarded $375 million, and that was directly from Zuckerberg. Then yesterday, the California trial that we've been talking about, KGM versus the KGM was this underage girl. She's 20 now. She sued everybody. She sued TikTok. She sued Snapchat, Google, YouTube, Meta. She sued them all. I mean, she took them all on. Yeah. So it took years and years and years and years to get through all the process of court. Came down to this jury trial. TikTok settled, Snapchat settled, so they didn't have to go through a jury. But he didn't. So he didn't settle. Well, yesterday he lost, and the jury awarded KGM $3 million. Now that opens the door for punitive damages. So they awarded penalties, $3 million. So it said that the jury awards KGM $3 million. Juries found that the Instagram parent company Meta and Google YouTube acted with malice, oppression, or fraud, which means there'll be punitive damages determined on top of the $3 million.
Yeah. Leaves it open to more.
So now all the attorneys go in, and the witness goes in for a 20-minute presentation each, and then the jury awards their next penalty phase. I'm estimating 500 million. I'm estimating 500.
What's your
well, hell, if they got Alex Jones for $1 billion,
$1 billion,
why not do that? I mean, because think about this. A lot of these jurors are probably angry, just like the rest of us, when we heard about all the censoring of certain voices through these tech companies via the U.S. government. So some things you can't get back from that because nobody wants to go down that road. But this is a way to like get money back out of them and like, look, you fucked us one way, we're going to fuck you back another.
For years, okay, for 20 years, I've been saying this. How does cell phone companies stay in business with people texting and crashing in cars? James, people crash in cars texting, right? And
All the
that
time.
the cop says, were you on your cell phone? And of course, they all say, no, I was not on my cell
Now
phone.
they have timestamps now, so they can prove when they're on their phones.
Right. But I'm
Right.
guarantee you that cell phones have killed 20,000 motorists. I'm going to just put a number out there.
Oh, yeah.
20,000 motorists,
Absolutely.
at least. Especially texting, because I can't do it. People say, well, just text me. I'm driving. Oh, just text me anyway. No,
Well, a lot
dude,
of them
Did
do
you see
that.
that guy on
I
show
can't
yesterday that was
drive and
driving?
text.
They do
Yeah.
that voice to text now.
Dude,
Yeah.
that David Clark yesterday on John's show, he's driving like you're a freaking state lawmaker, and he's looking at the phone. Wait, he's looking at the phone with his right hand. He's not holding the wheel with his, and I do that all the time. Like I can use my
Right.
knees a lot, but he's looking. I'm like, okay, I'm good at doing that. He's looking at that camera for a long period of time. Then he
Right.
looks away and he's looking back for it's a very long period of time. It's like seconds.
Mhm.
And that happens fast when you're in traffic.
I get dizzy. I mean, I lose the horizon. I get dizzy when I'm doing too many things at one time like that.
Who's dumb enough to go on a national radio show as a lawmaker driving in your car where you're holding your freaking phone and looking at the phone instead of the road? I mean,
he should have pulled over is what he should have done.
So then that wasn't bad enough yesterday. So we had the peace negotiations going to crap in Iran. We have the Mark Zuckerberg getting out his paycheck or getting out his checkbook to start writing some big checks. And, the attorneys still charge him. I mean, even though we lost the case, boss, you still owe me, $20 million, right?
He's got the internal lawyers there.
Yeah, so he's got that, and I'm sure they're not going to have fun on his next little yacht trip. He's going to make them walk the plank. He's going to be throwing trash out and pork grinds,
shark diving.
Yeah, he's going to say.
Yeah, but between the two yachts, you know how much money he's got in that?
How much?
Billions. He's probably worth $20 billion.
No. His yacht's worth his actual yacht's worth $110 million.
At least.
And the support yacht, but not counting the toys, just the spare support yacht is worth $65 million.
At least.
It says his net worth is $207 billion.
Yeah. That you know about. And he owns an island in the Philippines.
And that's not the only yacht he owns either. So he owns like 3.
He probably has a tanker. Okay. But something came out in the news. It's still formulating because they really kind of let this out, but they didn't want to let it out. Who's the guy? What judge has been the worst judge in Washington D.C. Circuit that keeps torpedoing every initiative?
Reyes.
But
is it Boasberg or Reyes?
Boasberger, right? Judge James E. Jeb Boasberg.
Well, Reyes is the one who stopped the TPS.
Yeah, Joesberg. So Boasberg, this bald-headed, goofy guy, big guy, goofy, bald-headed guy. He's been just deep sixing everything. Well, guess who Jack Smith went to get a subpoena so he could wiretap the congressmen and senators during Operation Arctic Frost.
You mean when they got their phone records and wiretapped all their yeah.
Reportedly
Boasberg.
by Boasberg, which they covered up because they didn't want anybody to know that it was a secret. Well, yesterday,
so why isn't that son of a bitch in handcuffs?
Right. So yesterday, they had a little tidbit that came out afternoon. I was listening to it when I was working in the yard. It said that Susie Wiles' phone records were subpoenaed by the FBI, and the judge that wrote that one off while she was campaign managers for Trump's 2024 election campaign. She's the campaign manager. Her phone records were wiretapped. Boasberg signed off on it. Boasberg.
See, this went from
so how is I mean, what the fuck? Oh, that's Sorry,
Skillet.
first one day.
That was a
Damn.
good one. Your wife's gonna
Bam.
smack you on the back of the head.
You know,
That was a
14.
good one.
back in the day, there'd be enough evidence that shows that you possibly did a crime. Today, there's no evidence, and they look for a crime.
Right.
This
report that came out yesterday said that Joe Biden approved wiretapping of Susie Wiles' communications with her
Dr.
attorney
Biden,
while campaign manager.
Dr. Biden did it.
So what's gonna happen?
Nothing.
See the bottom
Nothing.
there? America,
No
land of the free
handcuffs.
for all.
Nobody will be in handcuffs.
Land of the
Nothing.
free for all.
Right.
Land of the free for all.
So hey, everybody, start,
This is why I'm so disgruntled and don't care. Like, why would I care? Why do I care?
I know.
What am I gonna do? Scream? Carl's sitting in his mirror, in front of his mirror now. Ah! Ah! Iran war, Marines going over there. Like I used to care so much. No, you're not going to change it. This guy could have done anything. It
All right,
doesn't
well,
matter.
let's get back to our happy news.
Let's get back to some happy news.
Happy
Boasberg's
news
a
here.
clown.
Well, it's about time. We got like 15 minutes left that we can make fun of the news.
Well, what's this number
Thank
5?
you very much.
You wrote up
Thank
this
you very
one. I
much,
don't
Tyler.
understand
Well,
this
we
thing.
should do some serious news first.
Yeah, number 5. Top exorcist urge Pope to deploy devil-busting priests in every diocese.
Yes.
Because America is evil.
Well, it's worldwide. What they're requesting.
We don't care about the rest of the world. We just care about us.
Senior Catholic exorcists have implored Pope Leo to enlist more priests skilled in combating demons amid allegations of a worldwide increase of occult and satanic activities. I would say it's probably pretty spot on.
Have you ever seen somebody that's been possessed?
No.
Okay. Well, I was married to one. I was married to one. And
head went full.
It's like they're trying to maybe a little bit mean the picture there, how they're making us Catholics look, but whatever. Go ahead, James. What was it like?
I mean, you wake
Spanish
up
Inquisition.
to somebody who all of a sudden is trying to do anything and everything to make your life miserable, and they get off on it. And then she completely talked about weird stuff in the middle of the night. She'd be like wake up. She'd have these bad dreams all the time. And then she'd start talking about some off the wall stuff. I was like, where are you getting this at? Well, what is getting in your brain that you think all this stuff up? It's crazy. And she's like, it just comes to me. It just comes to me. And so she actually told me after we split up, a couple years after we split up, because she was going around trashing me, saying I was this bad person. This is why we split up. She said she split up from me. That's not true. I left her. And so a couple years down the road, she went to church, and she said she felt something in her body, and it lifted her out of all this anger and this craziness that she was thinking. We get along great today, but we didn't back then, because you could not talk to her without her wanting to start an argument or just talk a bunch of trash.
Yeah.
A lot of that is drug induced too. I mean,
no, she never did no drugs, brother.
See,
no.
you didn't know she didn't do any drugs.
She didn't do any drugs. No.
Drug abusers are really good at.
I do believe in possession. Absolutely. I'm not. I don't know if it's because I'm Catholic or I've listened to Father Dan Rehill's stories too much, but when you go to church, they teach you about all this stuff that, like the snakes or sex or whatever. There's signs of the devil. The devil loves all this stuff, right? And snakes especially, right? Okay, I don't know if I told you. James might have heard this a long time ago on another podcast we did. My dad was in town here in Virginia. He's deathly afraid of snakes, right? Like snakes.
Who isn't? The only snake I know is the dead snake.
All of them. Anything that can kill you like that in the woods, like they take it to the next level. They're like, they won't swim in the ponds with us here. They won't do any of that stuff.
Oh,
we have
I'm not.
Great waterfalls that they
kill
won't
them.
swim in. The snakes will swim across the water, and I'm swimming with him, and he's just like freaked out. He comes to visit one time, And we go to this state park. It's always empty. There's never anyone there. There's maybe 1 or 2 people you've seen there in the past. We're pulling in. We have to pay to park. It's empty, right? There's no one to pay. You fill out the piece of paper, put your $20 in, and you leave. And my dad's in the back of the van. We just got there. I'm like, it's a great swimming hole. And I know that I've seen a couple snakes there. It's not really that big of a deal. But it's rare to see them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're pulling in. There's this minivan pulling out. This was definitely a demon or possessed or devil or something. She pulls up next to our van. She's pulling out, and she's like moving like this, and she's like, I wouldn't go in there. There's snakes everywhere. And then she drives away. And my dad's in the back yelling now. Now we started an argument because I just told him to don't be worried about snakes. And it took me a minute to get it. I go home and I look at my wife. I'm like, oh my God.
That was she driving a Honda Odyssey.
That was like a demon or something, dude. That was
son, what did I do to you that you lie to me like that?
Now,
you put me in mortal danger. Mortal danger,
chaos,
son.
dude. The devil loves chaos, dude.
Now,
that was total fake.
Now, Tyler, when you moved to South Florida, when you moved down here and you're in a negative lake, there are going to be water moccasins.
Yeah.
You take out your shotgun, which we all have. I have a couple of 16 gauges, not 12. 16 gauges is fine. And or 410 or whatever.
Yeah, I have a 410.
And you shoot those water moccasins and rid them out of that area.
And if I accidentally miss and hit an alligator, big deal, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't talk about touching any alligator.
Yeah, going
especially
back to
putting what, James?
No, go ahead. Finish your
No, taking a carcass of a chicken and putting Drano inside the carcass and throwing it out into the pond. I would never do that because alligators do that to an alligator.
That's actually a good thing.
It's where I'm water skiing. No, Drano.
No, what I was going to say
do
is
that in the clear ones. My daughters, I taught them when we're going by ponds here. I'm like, Catherine, now why do we not go in that pond? Because it's dirty pond. What's in the dirty ponds? Alligators. I'm like, the only reason I tell her that is because I'm okay with swimming with alligators in like Crystal River or something where it's clear. I like to see. They know what you are. I said the reason why you're going to get eaten in that one with the alligators because they don't know what you are, where you're at, and they come up on you. And so she knows. They know in their head. Okay, dirty pond, we don't swim in.
Right.
Alabama calling me this early in the morning. I have no idea who that is. That's weird.
Okay, number 4, influencer mom. What's that, James?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm
okay, number 4. Oh, James, come on. You got to start this again. What is it?
Come on, whatever. You know what?
What is it?
Come on, James.
This is fucking bullshit. I try to just be part of the team. I show up, I do my part, and no.
Good job.
Go ahead, but continue on.
So to our Getter listeners, since we just started streaming on Getter, Skillet throws a dart every time one of us cusses. That's why we gave Skillet hell a minute ago when he said the F-bomb. James is usually the one doing karaoke on Fridays because
cocksucker motherfucker tits. All right, fine.
So if there's cussing, he throws a dart that I sent Skillet the dartboard in Florida. And then he adds up the numbers, and we see who's going to be singing karaoke at the end of the week. James loses again. We need to start taking requests. We need to start taking requests. That would be awesome.
All right, so number 4, influencer mom arrested for staging her own kidnapping to boost followers. Savvy.
That's happened more than once, guys.
I may or not be. I don't even know if I'm allowed to put her picture on Getter.
Why not?
Okay. Here she is. I was like, and so if you read the story, I'm on the Pope still. Don't see what I mean? I'm going from the Pope to this. This is terrible.
Exactly. I did that on purpose.
I did that on purpose. Influencer mom arrested for staging her own kidnapping. This was in Brazil, and this story.
Brazilian butt job. That's where that term comes from.
You bet.
As the investigation progressed, it found indications that the alleged kidnap for ransom was in fact nothing more than a plot between the supposed victim and one of the perpetrators. Detective Clay Anderson said.
This is so viral.
I know, right? Like that was probably one of the best photos I could put
This
up
ain't
on
the
it.
first
Or
time this
without.
has happened, though. There was a girl in Florida, as a matter of fact, that she she perpetrated her own kidnapping, and then come to find out that she was actually on a long trip with a bunch of guys, and she left her. What got her busted is she left her kid alone in the house by itself,
Oh,
little like 4-year-old, and she said she had to do it to make it look real because what do you do? You're going to call a babysitter, and then I'm getting kidnapped, so let me call a babysitter kind of thing.
mhm.
Right.
So they investigated the child side of it, and she got busted. Come to find out, she was partying with some people instead of being kidnapped, and she put it
Nice.
on
Yeah,
social media that
Well,
she
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 got kidnapped.
got
well, this
kidnapped.
girl, she was arrested on Tuesday. This is in Brazil, of course. And when you read through the story more, she was definitely. So I don't know if you guys know what a favela is, right? It's the ghettos in Brazil. They're on the side. It's funny that the worst ghettos have the best views of the city. Like you go where my wife's from, Victoria.
Where I'm from, they call it Springfield.
They have the best views. It's all the slums built up the sides of the mountains,
Yeah.
right? All the
Oh yeah.
colorful favelas. She definitely is from the favela because if you look at the heisters, it says arrested. Where's it at?
That's why she has a big butt, because she has to climb up the side of those mountains to go home.
3 men and Fraga were allegedly involved in the plot. She is Fraga. One man is in prison for other crimes already, while the other one was murdered before an arrest warrant could be issued. So one's in prison already. She's just got arrested, and one's dead. I'm like, okay, you are definitely from the favela because the other guy's dead already. Who got the money? It doesn't tell you how much money she did it for.
Well,
Influencer, she only has 48,000 followers. I mean,
I know her future. Show the picture of the next article, the one from number 3. I can tell her what she's going to look like in about 12
oh
years.
yeah.
Go right ahead.
Dun dun dun.
Here's your
Yeah, we got to
future,
get this off my
ma'am.
screen
This
before
is
my.
what you're going to look like in Brazil. 10 years.
Oh yeah, I didn't even try this. This is both in Brazil. That
Yeah,
was not on purpose.
there you go.
So what did this lady do?
Oh,
She
this is
she pulled a James brother.
What'd she do, James?
oh, I read this on our notes. Damn it.
That's
She
okay. I put it on the bottom. Mom who she killed boyfriend, cut off his genitals before catching or after
Yes, to rape the
catching him
daughter.
raping her daughter. Cleared of murder. Cleared.
She
Good.
did well. That should be how American justice works here, but it doesn't.
Dude,
does
I'm
not.
telling you, if me and my wife got a divorce, she remarried her boyfriend or whatever, and with my 3 daughters, I could tell you there would be so much death
This
and
mother
destruction.
did what
There would be.
most mothers would do, or at
I would
least
hope so,
if
but
not the
she's definitely
mother,
getting the
the
fame for
father.
it.
Well, she got off. See, that's the thing is they don't get off as an innocent. Uh, usually they're found guilty of because they're saying it's not enough to do this to somebody. I say BS.
By the way, we
Yeah,
have your song request on the chat. Can you get you, James, to get him singing Mother Lover by Lonely Island? So we're going to take requests. I'm screenshotting it. There we go. Okay. So this mom
what's it
allegedly
called?
Mother
Uh,
lover.
Mother Lover by Lonely Island. The mother allegedly spiked De Silva, which president of Brazil is also De Silva, right? Lula De Silva or Lula Silva. I don't know if De Silva's in it, but anyway, she spiked his drink with Klonopin, a medication used to treat seizures, then stabbed him, clubbed him while he was unconscious, and then a teen nearby heard the screams, helped the mom carry the body to Wasteland in Belo Horizonte, where Vicente cut off the dead man's genitals, set his body on fire.
Now
The
that's the
jurors.
village I want to live in.
What'd she do with his genitals?
I don't know.
Fed it
Put
to
it in
the
a,
pig.
put it in a
She-
jar or
she-
something?
She's like,
she
I got
fed
him
it
right
to the
here.
pig.
I'm keeping him forever.
Fed it to the pigs. I'm telling you, I'd almost bet money they fed it to the pig.
Poor pigs.
Oh my
Pigs
gosh.
are saying, "Hey, there's another one
Pigs
thrown
will
over
eat
the
anything.
fence."
I want to get to this
Jeez.
one before we close out because this is number 2, I think. I
You
removed
can't
that.
live cheaper in a hotel room in Florida. I can tell you that right
That's in
now.
Hey,
Pensacola. They're in Florida.
That's a great story.
Jeez,
They're in Florida.
they are
Yeah.
Pensacola.
Yeah,
Pensacola.
I'm pretty sure they're in
I
Pensacola.
mean, when you can live in a hotel cheaper than you could rent an apartment, there's something wrong with that.
Listen, a slab in Fort Lauderdale to put your RV trailer on is $1,400 a month.
Yeah,
And
that's
$1,700 if you don't sign
the
a
pair
year
had been
lease.
they've been living in a hotel now for 2 years and paid $307 a week for a 1-bedroom hotel room, which includes power, water, internet, free parking.
Yeah.
Miranda said the couple had saved $12,000 a year on average in hopes to save money to buy a tiny home and some land. So, dude, they have this. I looked through all the pictures of their hotel room. Like their office. See that
That's a nice hotel room in Pensacola, because regular Florida hotel rooms is a bathroom and a bed, and that's it.
That has 2 rooms.
Well, they've
like a
customized
walk-in
it.
closet.
No, that's their bathroom. They've customized this
okay.
thing. So if you look at the other pictures in it, they have those Chinese separators or whatever.
Yeah,
that fold
looks
out.
like they cut a hole in the wall. Look at that. That looks all jagged and stuff at the top.
I'll show you this other picture. You'll get better idea
of it.
Yeah, because they put those separators up like for their desk in their office area. They just changed it to a.
I just stayed at a nice hotel room, $250 a night, and my room was smaller than this.
I tell you
this
what.
This is how they separate it.
It's a smart
like it's
business plan.
There's only 2 of them. Like I could obviously never do that with my kids, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Now in South Florida, that big of a room, you've got at least 14 people living in there, and if it's a Chinese restaurant workers, you got 22 people living in there in shifts, 11 and 11.
Yeah, at least the Haitians get these old turn of the century homes here in Springfield.
$107 a week to sleep on a used mattress, but them same people have spent $307 a night to sleep on a used mattress at an Airbnb. Make it make sense.
Yes, this is the hotel room I live in for $307 a week, $1,228 a month, all utilities included, and I'm going to take you inside for those of y'all who have not been inside my room.
All right, first we're going to go inside.
Oh, that's nice.
This is where the office will be open.
You know what, guys? Honestly, I just saw the time. I got to fast forward this.
The microwave. I brought in the other things.
We'll see you tomorrow.
This is our bed
area.
I had fun, guys. This is just a little
I'll have a good day.
area, and then this is my little.
Great day. I'm buying a hotel room.
I'm going back to bed.
All right, see you, James.